First and foremost, Yolanda, thank you for that glorious and beautiful introduction. And thank you, Teachers College, for having me here. I know you're regretting it with that selfie, but I have a talk that I wrote because I had to write a talk. And it's not long, because I know your butts are already starting to hurt, and this is only the beginning. But last week, I was on a class trip with my 9-year-old son, Jackson Leroy, and the teachers took 33 kids to the Museum of Natural History. And I realized that this is what hell must look like. But it's also, in the hands of those great teachers of Brooklyn New School, this is what heaven is. And I'm so moved and grateful for the work all of you are doing and for the work that you have done. And BNS in the house, thank you, thank you, thank you. And everywhere there is a parent thanking a teacher at a school for getting their child through another day. There is a balm in Gilead that makes the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. In the world of children's books, there comes a point where the stories change to tales where there is no longer a happy ending. For many of us, it comes on too quickly that going from fairy tales to realistic fiction, where suddenly no perfectly fitted glass slipper brings about a happily ever after. No imp spinning straw into gold. No pea beneath a mattress ending in some heteronormative, very white world of marriage and queendom. No going from beans to beanstalk, to murder, to wealth. The first time I read my book, Each Kindness, to a group of third graders, a boy stood up, enraged. The book, about a child who is unkind and in being so, discovers what she loses, ends with this passage. That afternoon, I walked home alone. When I reached the pond, my throat filled with all the things I wished I would have said to Maya. Each kindness I had never shown. I threw small stones into it, over and over, watching the way the water rippled out and away, out and away. Like each kindness done and not done, like every girl somewhere holding a small gift out to someone and that someone turning away from it. I watched the water ripple as the sun set through the maples and the chance of a kindness with Maya became more and more forever gone. At the school I was visiting, the enraged boy, hearing the silence after the words forever gone, realized that this was the end of the book. It's not supposed to happen like that, he said. They're supposed to become friends, and there's supposed to be a happily ever after. It's not supposed to happen like that, he said again and again. And of course, he's right in some way. In a perfect world, there should be more happily ever afters. In a perfect world, we should be able to wake up feeling like we can exhale, like our work is done. But this is far from a perfect world, and our work is never done. In children's books, there is no rule of a happily ever after, but there is a balm in Gilead. Running through every story written for young people, there is hope. After all, who wants to keep reading if there is no hope there? Who wants to keep doing anything without hope? And you can't wait to spring the hope on the reader at the very end. You've lost them by then. The hope has to flow through the story. This is probably why so many writers of young people's literature seem to be such ding-dang optimists all the time. Alas, so now this, my brilliant, lovely, thoughtful, about to change the world, graduates, is the world we're living in. A world where each day, as the poet Feminist, lesbian, mother, activist Audre Lorde said, "We must wake up knowing we have work to do and go to bed knowing we've done that work." That work and that hope is going to get us and the next generation through this crazy now. That work and that hope is going to be the balm in Gilead. You are all about to go out and change the world. You will be the gatekeepers, the voices of reason, the openers of young minds. What a deep and beautiful narrative you're taking on. You will face again and again the enraged boy who doesn't think the story should end that way. And you will agree with him and say, "No, it shouldn't. So how will you, my thoughtful child, go out and change the narrative?" You will give them paintbrushes and clay and blank notebooks and pens. You will give them books that, as Dr. Rudine Sims Bishop said, have mirrors and windows and sliding glass doors. Through these books, you will usher them into worlds they never could have imagined, introduce them to people they never will forget. You will walk them out of the lives they've always known into worlds of possibility, into worlds filled with hope and action and moments of pure laughter and joy. But most of all, you won't promise them fairy tale futures, but will teach them the importance of turning hope into action. Because we know we're living in a time where they are meeting the bully head on, and like the third grade boy are thinking, but it's not supposed to happen like that. They have been taught they have a voice and their voice matters, and yet someone is saying to them, someone who is supposed to be powerful and thoughtful and a leader of a country, that who they are doesn't matter. This is where you come in. Because you know history and you know the story, and like them, your foundation was a small guy named David defeating the giant with wit and a stone. Like them, you grew up cheering when Rapunzel realized her hair was her power, that the freedom she craved was already a part of her, just in need of action, that Dorothy's hills were just waiting to be clicked together. And maybe even Snow White just needed a nice long nap so those needy little men would stop depending on her for everything and she could get busy with the true work at hand. Yeah, finding love is awesome, but wow, changing the world is next level. You, my teachers, are the true leaders of this country. Stay brave, stay woke. Walk into those classrooms each day knowing the people you are guiding come from a history of fairy tales and realistic fiction, a history of happy endings and hope. And like that third grade boy, they truly believe in kindness. Young people are magic. Every day, walk into your classroom and see them. I'm Jackie Woodson from Bushwick, Miss Moskowitz's class, 3-301. If someone had told Miss Moskowitz that I would be standing here one day, she may have had a great laugh over her cigarette in the smoky teacher's lounge of PS 106. See your students' amazing futures in their eyes and their actions and their passion, not in their test scores. Today marks the beginning of a new narrative. Thank you for choosing to help young people and all people gather the tools together that will rewrite America's current heartbreaking story. Thank you.
Gracias. ¿No?